Charley Daniels from Black Rainbow Printing. Charley, can you tell me how long ago did you start to be concerned about the environmental impacts of printing?
Well, I suppose ever since I started printing, I was always aware of what was going through my presses.
Yep.
As quite a young fella, I was quite committed to environmental action. I visited North Queensland, saw what was happening with the rainforests up there, and coming back down to Victoria, I also became very aware of just what was happening to our own forest here close by. And I realised that the paper I was using in my presses was coming from the destruction of these old growth forests, and in that way I knew that I had to do something about that.
Yep. And so what did you do?
Well, at the time, there was a product coming out of from Sydney, which was an imported paper called Eco Paper. It was an Eco Paper collective in Sydney, and they were importing 100% post-consumer recycled paper from Germany. And I started purchasing that and encouraging people to use it. I told them that it was just as good as the other product. It mightn't have been quite as white, but it was a lot more environmentally sound. And people wanted it, and people requested it, and that's basically what set me off or gave me a bit of a niche in the printing market. It's sort of, I started running in front of the pack as far as environmental printing was concerned, and have been doing the same ever since.
And certainly the paper merchants these days, they are able to talk about all the environmental credentials in quite detail, aren't they?
Oh, very much so. Since those days when there was no recycled paper commercially available that was produced in Australia, today there are a lot of products. They're pretty well labelled, and basically there's no real reason to use environmentally destructive paper. There's alternatives to it. There's 100% post-consumer papers available for all applications, from high quality colour printing to your normal photocopy paper, and you can make a choice to use a product that is environmentally friendly compared to something that's environmentally destructive.
So what you're saying is that if you're a consumer and you're going into a printer asking for recycled paper or paper that doesn't come from primary growth forests is easy.
It is easy because it's readily available and can be used for all applications, all printing applications.
And of course, we've seen the results of this, haven't we? That a lot of the paper these days now is made from plantation timber.
Sure. Look, I think it probably makes better paper for starters.
Yes.
The plantation forestry. I suppose there's some problems involved in that as well. Particularly if native forest is cleared for plantation, you have to be aware of that. We can't be sort of promoting plantation paper from plantations that are cleared out of native forest, and that's what's happening, particularly in Southeast Asia, where rainforests are being clear felled by pulp companies. That rainforest timber initially is pulped, and then acacia plantations are planted on those areas that were once tropical rainforest, and that can be promoted as an environmentally friendly product, where in fact it's not.
So you've really sometimes you've got to do the hard yards to look behind things to understand what's happening.
Well, that's what we do. We look at every paper product. We find out which mill it comes from. We're aware of the pulp market, the pulp prices, where the pulp's coming from, and that's the research we do at Black Rainbow to ensure the credentials of the papers we use.
So if people come to you to buy things, they can be sure that they're the very best for caring for the environment that's possible?
Well, we stringently check those, and I don't think many other printers would go to those lengths. In fact, another printing company that was promoting a certain paper was saying that it was environmentally friendly. It had a Forest Stewardship Council tick on it. I asked them which mill produces it, where's it produced. They didn't even know. So we tracked that down to find out where that was coming from ourselves, but the company themselves didn't actually know. So they, even though they had a label on it, Forest Stewardship Council, chain of
custody.
Chain of custody.
Yes.
There was no knowing actually what was in that product. It could have been from Southeast Asian rainforest. It could have been from Australian old growth native forest. So it's well worth checking in detail what mill is involved, where they're getting their pulp from, and those sort of things.
And Charlie, do you have a little advice? If there are people out there who want to begin to take their business to be more green, how do you see, are there a couple of little steps that people can follow to do this?
Well, for starters, at this point, as you were saying, plantations, more plantation paper will be coming online in the future, and I'm sure that a lot of the companies will be managing these plantations well and those sort of things. But at the moment, 100% post-consumer recycled paper is the most environmentally friendly product. It guarantees that this paper isn't coming from the destruction of the global forest estate. Also, by purchasing or choosing these recycled products, you're pushing the paper industry towards producing such products. At the moment, there isn't really 100% post-consumer recycled paper, Australian-made 100% post-consumer recycled paper readily available on the market. It has to be imported. That's another issue in itself.
And Charlie, the inks you use?
100% vegetable oil or soy oil based inks, no volatile organic compounds.
Okay.
So we try and do the whole gamut as far as environmentally friendly printing.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Charlie, and I wish you all the success in your business.
Thank you.
Thank you.